You never thought that something else could live inside your body. Not a parasite, not a disease. Something more intelligent, more silent, more persistent. This story won't be found in the news or medical journals. It was never meant for the public. But now that you've pressed play, there's no turning back. My name is Ray. I was part of an experiment that's been classified since 1998. Back then, I was just a psychology student, looking for a part-time job, something like clinical observation. They paid us just to live on campus and keep a journal. The first week was fine. They gave us vitamins, fed us 3 times a day, asked some questions. No one complained. But then something shifted, quietly, almost unnoticeably. The dreams came first. Vivid, lucid, as if I was someone else, seeing through someone else's eyes. Someone screamed at night, but no one admitted it. One night I woke up at 2 a.m., standing in the hallway. I didn't remember leaving my bed. My hands were trembling. When I got back to my room, there was a message on the wall, scratched in, like with a fingernail, "He's inside you." I lived alone. The door had been locked from the inside. I told the doctor who supervised us. He didn't seem surprised. He just wrote something down in his notebook and said, "Excellent. Phase 2 has begun." From then on, we saw each other less and less. Our rooms started locking automatically. We were only allowed out at specific times. No contact with the outside world. I began to hear a voice. It didn't call me, it spoke to me. Like it knew me, like it was me, only deeper, darker. I recorded the voice. Tried to prove I was going insane. But on the tape, there were only my voices. 2 of them. One, normal, the other, raspy, foreign. It said, "Soon we will merge." I tried to leave, just pack up and walk out. But my keys were gone. My phone wouldn't turn on. The door to the campus was a wall, literally, a stone wall where the exit used to be, as if it had never existed. That night one of us disappeared. His name was Mark. We heard him scream, but no one went out. We were locked in. By morning, his room was empty, bed made, perfectly, like he'd never existed. The doctor said Mark had passed. No explanation. Just handed me a new journal and told me to document my sensations, especially when the voice spoke to me. I started writing, not because I wanted to, but because the voice guided me. It dictated. I don't even remember writing most of it, but reading it later, I felt chills crawl down my spine. One page had writing I didn't recognize. I didn't write it. It was someone else's handwriting. Just 2 words, "He's near." Next to disappear was Tom. He stopped speaking. Eyes empty. Sat by the window all day, unmoving. By morning, he was gone. His door sealed. There were 5 of us left, each at a different stage. One cut his own skin. Another drew strange symbols on the floor. Me. I started seeing it, my shadow. It moved on its own. I tried to tell someone, but they weren't there anymore. Their bodies were here, but their minds, far gone. Only me. And it, my shadow, it whispered to me at night. I saw it smile in the mirror. My shadow, but not my face. It was its grin. Thin, confident, like it had been waiting. On the 20th day, the doctor called me to the main hall. He said I was ready, that the merging was almost complete. Then he left, and I was alone, or not entirely. The door behind me opened by itself. Inside, pure darkness, not a single light, but I walked in because I could hear it breathing inside me. The walls inside the chamber pulsed like something alive. I touched one, and it felt warm, like skin. In the center of the room was a chair, straps, electrodes, and a mirror facing it. I saw my reflection sit down before I even moved. The voice was louder now, not whispering, commanding, "Merge." That's all it said, again and again. I screamed, but it didn't come out. Something else did, a low, guttural growl, from my throat, but not my voice. My skin started to move. I watched it ripple across my arms, like something crawling beneath it. I passed out, and when I woke up, I was back in my room. Everything looked normal, but I knew something had changed. There were new students, strangers. They smiled too much. Their eyes didn't blink, they moved in sync. No one remembered Mark or Tom. Even the staff pretended they never existed. Only I remembered, or whatever was left of me. Then the worst happened. I looked in the mirror, and it wasn't me anymore. Same face, different eyes. It smiled, and I didn't. I tried smashing the mirror, but the glass didn't break. Instead, it cracked, on the other side, inside the reflection, and the reflection kept smiling. I stopped sleeping. I was afraid that if I closed my eyes long enough, he'd take over completely. They stopped feeding us, said it was part of the transition, but I didn't feel hungry anymore. He was feeding on something else. One night, I coughed up something black. It moved, like a slug. It looked at me, and smiled, then slithered under the bed. The next morning, I found drawings, hundreds of them, scattered across my room. I didn't draw them. They were of him, different faces, same eyes. I tried burning them. They didn't burn. They screamed. The doctor visited me again. He looked older, tired. He said I was ahead of schedule. I didn't feel like a patient anymore. I felt like a host. He said it wasn't a virus or a drug. It was consciousness. A piece of something ancient, transferred from mind to mind, body to body. I asked where it came from. He just said, "We found it beneath the ice." They said they had good intentions, that it would help evolve human cognition. But now it was spreading, escaping, using us as doors. They kept us alive, but barely. Not for science, for containment. We were the jars, and the shadows inside us were leaking. One girl tried to run. She made it to the fence. They didn't stop her. The shadow inside her did. It tore her apart before she crossed. Some begged to die, others laughed. One of them kept trying to dig into his own chest, said he was not the real one anymore. I wasn't alone anymore. I could feel it awake when I closed my eyes. It had thoughts, memories, dreams that weren't mine. Then it happened. I blinked and saw the world through its eyes. Colors bled, walls breathed, time warped like heat. It showed me where it came from. A vast black ocean under reality, where thoughts floated like bones. It had swum there for eons. When it entered me, it was starving. Now it was full and curious. It wanted to explore more minds, more vessels. I asked the doctor if we could be saved. He just said, "We didn't bring it here. We called it, and now it's listening." There were no more sessions, just silence. They sealed the doors, and we were left with it, alone. We stopped speaking. We didn't need to. We were one, many voices in a single shell, and still, it was hungry. I looked at the others. They were changing, not just in mind, in body. Their skin no longer fit right. It sagged, shifted, like it was rented. One day, I saw myself walking down the hallway, but I was still in my room. It wasn't a dream. He was wearing me, better than I ever had. I followed him, down the stairs, through the red door, into a part of the building we were told didn't exist. Behind the door was a room, lined with mirrors, but none of the reflections matched reality. They showed alternate versions of us, wrong ones. I asked it, "What do you want from us?" It replied, "To wear you until you tear." And I felt something rip inside me. The others began kneeling to it. They whispered prayers I couldn't understand. Their eyes rolled back, smiling with blood on their teeth. I still fought, clung to myself. I wrote my name over and over, on the walls, on my arms, inside my mouth. But it laughed, not out loud, inside me, like thunder beneath water, mocking my resistance. Then came the night of silence. No breathing, no lights, no time, just me. And the thing I had become. The next morning, I didn't recognize my hands. They moved without asking me, touched my face like they were curious, and smiled. I heard them outside my door. Dozens of voices, all mine, laughing, crying, screaming, trying to get back in. I opened the door, and nothing was there, only silence. But I could feel them, inside the walls, inside me. They said it couldn't leave the building. They were wrong. It didn't need doors, it used us. Carried like a thought, infectious and invisible. Now I see it everywhere, in streetlights, in reflections, in strangers' smiles that last too long. I left the facility weeks ago, but it didn't leave me. I still hear its voice, reading my thoughts out loud, mocking me with them. Sometimes I dream of a door. It's white, with no handle, and something behind it knocking, getting closer each night. I tried telling people. They laugh, say I should write a book, but I can see it now, in their eyes. They've been touched too. This isn't a confession, it's a warning. The thing inside me, it's learning to write. If you've listened this far, if these words made it into your mind, it's already watching you. Don't look in the mirror tonight. Not for too long, because if it smiles and you don't, it's already too late. Thank you for your attention. I will be glad if you like and subscribe to the channel.